Let us all welcome our beloved, distinguished Toastmaster PQD, DTM Dalia Aldeeb.
Thank you so much, our Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Mohammed Shiraz. Good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure to see such great people, lots of people who are dear to my heart, whether from District 20 or outside. Thank you so much, DTM Rania, for being here with us and for enlightening us, because I feel that, as I was saying, we're like all in the same boat, not knowing exactly what's going to happen in the next while with the new pathways enhancements. So thank you for gracing our stage and for enlightening us with all that information. Thank you to our, of course, DTM Alka Kumra, our LDP program coordinator, for organizing all of this and for the team. And it's a pleasure to have all the PQDs and our District 20 members. Thank you all. I hope we will all benefit. And please, DTM Rania has a Q&A session. Please take advantage and ask all that your heart desires. And hopefully we'll at least come out from here knowing better than what we came in with. Thank you, and back to you, our Sergeant at Arms. Toastmaster Shiraz, are we back to you, or are we moving to DTM Alka?
Yes, DTM Alka, please.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mohammed Shiraz, our Sergeant at Arms for the day, but he's been a great leader. Let me tell you, he's been a wonderful division director and an area director as well. Good evening, our leaders of District 20, current leaders, past leaders, future leaders, and all members present from not only District 20, from beyond District 20 as well. And a hearty welcome to our trainer today, our Region Advisor, Region 8 Advisor, DTM Rania Abul-Rub. She's an old friend. I, in fact, met her at one of the international conventions when she was not on the leadership path yet. And it's wonderful to see the journey she's completed, or she's still on, after having taken up the CGD, PQD, District Director, and now the Region Advisor role. And what a wonderful topic that she's going to touch upon today. In fact, when Pathways came, we all had our misgivings, right? We were very happy with the past training program that we had, and we were wondering why Pathways is coming at all. And when we started on it, we found that we were going to learn more than 300 core skills through Pathways. And slowly there was some disappointment, some apprehensions on some of the aspects of Pathways. I'm really happy to see that Toastmasters International has been taking that feedback into account, into consideration, and is coming out with enhancements almost every year now. And the current year enhancements are, I believe, really remarkable, because it is bringing back some of the old path or old training program aspects, even going back to the training manual of Dr. Ralph C. Smedley as well, the basic training manual. So it's wonderful, and I think today's session is going to be really important. It's really important for all members, especially the ExCom leaders, so that they can guide the members into what all Pathways has in store for us and how it is going to change our training that we have been having till now. So I would like to now invite our trainer for the day, DTM Rania. Please, the podium is all yours. I don't want to take more of your time. So go right into it. Let's give her a big round of applause.
Thank you, dear Alka. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction and setting the wave and setting the path for the discussion today. See, I joined Toastmasters 20 years ago. I'm a dinosaur. So I belong to that old educational system. And I really resonate with what you just said. When we introduced pathways in 2017, I was a lead reviewer at the time. And the first thing that came to our minds, the oldies, why aren't those things there? Things that we were required to do to become distinguished Toastmasters. Things that many members who've joined recently are not even aware of, and the essence of having these enhancements that are now finally been implemented. So I join my voice to yours to say I'm so happy and excited when I heard about these enhancements back in Philadelphia at the board of directors meeting, when they said we're going to bring some of those old nice flavors to our pathways, because I am a strong believer that club quality is the essence of our education system. No matter what we do, no matter what initiatives we do as club officers, district leaders, it doesn't work unless we work on the club quality and the excellence in the members' experience. It happens within the clubs. And if everything happens right in the club, trust me, the club mission will be fulfilled, the area targets, division, district, and everyone will be happy and satisfied. And this is basically the essence of why we are reinstating again those important enhancements, additions that we used to have as requirements back in the good old days, and now they're back into our pathways learning system, educational system. So today in this session, I'm going to basically highlight, refresh your memory, what we used to have in the past, and what is the purpose of these enhancements, and how you're going to see it on Basecamp as members or as Basecamp managers. Luckily to you, I'm my home club VP education this year, so I have access to everything. So I can share with you my screen, my slides, what you're going to see live. And this is why I was telling Dali when it first came to, when I had the first email back in October, let's do it next week. I said, let's wait and see what's going to happen, because myself as a VP education, I had a lot of questions to address to my members to start with, let alone the district, let alone the region, right? My home club members. So now that we have more insight, and I'm sure much more information is going to come our way, but now we have at least a foundation, something that we can come back to our members with to address their concerns. What does it mean to them, especially those who are working with the old paths, legacy paths, current paths, progressing in their levels, what's going to happen, what is their fate? Right? We all have these questions in our mind. So this is the purpose of the session today. So I hope we'll be sailing on a boat and will not end like the Titanic. So we're going to be always stay on safe and sound, and we'll reach our port safe and sound. All right. So let me start by sharing my screen, and I need please a thumbs up once you can see my shared slides. All right. Can I see a thumbs up? All righty. So that's me. My name is Rania Abul-Rub. I'm based in Jordan, by the way, for the fellow members who are joining us from around the world and the capital, Amman. And it's a privilege to be together with our friends from all over the world who have this enthusiasm and excitement to know more about these enhancements. So let me go back down the memory lane. So Toastmasters started in 1924. And to look at the first manual, it was in 1928. And it has evolved over the years. When your friends truly joined back in 2005, I basically was part of the communication and leadership track, and that started in 1997. And then Pathways came in 2017. So it took 20 years for one program to another program to be introduced, all right? So now we're going to basically talk about those things that were taken from the days of the 1997 to 2010 and embedded again in our current Pathways education program. So back in the good old days, this is how it used to look like for me. And I got my DTM in the old program. This was my journey back in those days. So as a new member, and in order to become a DTM, I had to do two paths, parallel paths, the communication path and the leadership track. For the communication path, we had to finish manuals. We had 4 manuals, 40 projects in total. And for the leadership track, we had to do some roles, meeting roles and district leadership, and also club officers roles. And these are the new things that we are basically adding to the current Pathways Learning Program, serving in various club meeting roles and conducting educational presentations, along with the other requirements that we all know by heart by now. So why did they do it? Because we were basically nagging and requesting, word at quarterstaff, please, let's bring some of the old flavors because this will elevate the club quality and impact the club meetings. Because when we have these enhancements, we basically drive consistent membership participation to sustain club vitality and momentum. We strengthen the practical leadership capabilities through different structural learning and mentorship, and I'll touch base on that later on. Facilitate knowledge sharing when we do these presentations within the club. Increase member engagement to improve retention and overall program, because why would members stay in the club unless they found value and quality within the club meetings? Develop competencies progressively through continuous application and feedback, and of course, foster a culture of collaboration within the club. So everyone feels involved, everyone feels part of the process, and it will ease the burden on the club officers, mainly the VP education, because they are the one who are in charge of managing the club different meeting roles and the educational progress of the club members, etc., etc. So what are these enhancements? You got the email last week, right? All of you, whether you're enrolled in Pathways or not enrolled in Pathways, it came effective as of October 22nd, which commemorates the 101st anniversary of our organization. And for now, friends, it's only applicable to these paths in English only. Because in our part of the world, we have Arabic-speaking clubs, we have other paths in different languages. So these enhancements are only found in English, the English version of the new LMS paths under the new learning management system, which are the dynamic leadership, engaging humor, motivational strategies, persuasive influence, presentation mastery, and visionary communication. So if you are working on these paths, you will see the enhancements, and these enhancements apply to you. So what about the legacy paths? These do not involve the legacy path. That means if you're still working on effective coaching, innovative planning, leadership development, strategic relationships, and team collaboration, this does not apply to you. It means you can continue with your progress the same way that you used to. You'll get credit to your educational development and program achievements, and you're not entitled to do any of the enhancements because you're not going to see it on the system anyway. And these are not going to be included in translated paths as well. So if you are doing an Arabic path, you will not see these enhancements. That means that it does not apply to you. However, and I say however for the third time, we highly recommend you as club members to start encouraging members to implement these as a good practice, because maybe soon enough, these are going to be basically spread and introduced to other languages. For now, this is the status quo. But things will change in the near future. But for now, this only applies to the 6 official paths that you can purchase nowadays. So what does this involve? So members need to complete meeting roles and give educational presentation to support their clubs. And a new section in each level outlining these requirements. I'll show you that on the screen in a minute. Level 3, 4, and 5 now introduce the members to the old series that we knew a long time ago, the Successful Club series, the Better Speaker series, and the Leadership Excellence series, which are available online, free of charge, but now they're going to be, again, mandatory. Back in my time, we had to do these educational sessions at the club meeting to get credit for the leadership track. So these were required. And then Pathways came and they were basically removed. In many districts in the past 6-7 years, we introduced it as an incentive, as a district award to encourage clubs to conduct these sessions in-house, but it wasn't a mandatory requirement. Now it's lovely to see this as a requirement because many times we ask ourselves, why would members, for example, attend such sessions, especially after COVID, lots of online sessions, it becomes overwhelming, right? But what happens in the club is basically what members cherish because we all attend our club meetings. So any educational session that happens in the club, it's where basically members will learn most because it's happened in our home, in our household, right? And this is the reason why these are back to our educational system. And with these enhancements, of course, members will improve their communication, their leadership skills by giving presentations in a different series to support the club excellence and elevate the club quality. So how does it look like? So now I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to share my own Basecamp screen. Can I do that? All right, so let me try and share my screen and let's just see how does it look like on the real world. Let me see, where is it? Just a second. Okay. So again, I need please a confirmation that you can see my screen. Okay. Can I see a thumbs up? All right, so this is my base. I logged in with my credentials, all right? And you put in your credentials, and now I'm going to go, so welcome Rania, here I am, and now I'm going to go my Basecamp. Please let me know, I need a thumbs up if you can see that the screen is changing, because sometimes I have to log off and log in again, so I know it's a bit slow. Can you see the screen? All right, so now you can. So these are my different paths. I have lots of paths. So let me open the presentation mastery. Don't ask me why, but this is the way it is. So let's open the presentation mastery because I'm currently working on my presentation mastery. So this is the general overview. When you go to the general overview, you see some changes, all right? Okay, so now you see all the 5 levels. I finished level 1, 2, and 3. So for me, since I finished the first 3 levels, even though the changes are shown on the system, I'm not entitled to do them. I already got the credit for level 1, 2, and 3, all right? So if you have finished any level, that's fine. But whatever level you are working on and that has not been finalized, these changes will apply to you. But let's go step by step now, go to level 1, and how does it look like? So now you see there's a new line here, level 1 mastering fundamentals. This wasn't there before. This is added. So now what you see the checklist. This is what you need to do to finish level 1. So it highlights in summary, you have to participate in table topic speaker before icebreaker. So you cannot do the icebreaker before doing a table topic speech. So this is a requirement now. So now you have, as VP Education, you have to figure out a system now, how are we going to finalize, and I'm going to touch base on that, what are the best practices, how to do it. Since also I'm sharing my experience as VP Education, my home club, you have basically to tackle and to jot down who are the, for example, guests or new members who had just joined the club. They have to do the icebreaker speech before they can conduct their icebreaker. So this is requirement number 1. And then it shows you all the different projects as you know them. Complete the icebreaker project, complete writing speech with purpose, the same thing that we know. And then, of course, complete the evaluation and feedback project, which is a 3-part project, as we know. You conduct the first speech, you implement the feedback in the second speech, and the 3rd part is evaluation. So this 3rd part, evaluation, can count as a requirement being an evaluator. So you don't have to do it twice. So that evaluation part will be credited towards fulfilling being an evaluator. And of course, you have to add another additional role, which is being a timer or an accounter. So you have to complete all of these. And what you can do once you finish everything, you just put check mark as a member, check mark, I've done this, I've done that, I've done that. So the member would know exactly what he or she has fulfilled. So it's like a checklist for you to continue to know exactly where you are and what roles have been completed. This is as a member. Now I'll talk about the Basecamp manager later on, so let's not confuse the different scenarios. So let's not focus as a member, what we see. So this is level 1. And level 1 is basically identical in all 6 paths, right? Let's go now back to level 2 and see what it looks like. Okay, it's a bit, sometimes it's slow. So now level 2, now it has a level 2 learning your style. So this is again another new line. Okay, so now it basically gives you an introduction. And here it shows you all the resources that you need to complete the added roles. So it takes you straight to the Toastmasters website or straight to the file, PDF file to download. So for example, anything you need, the Toastmaster meeting roles, it's a comprehensive document. Tutorial on how to evaluate. There's a tutorial on the website, how to evaluate. Grammarian script log. All different script log are already compiled in this one page as resources for level 2 completion. And for level 2, you have to complete the introduction to Toastmasters mentoring, which is a requirement, and 2 distinct projects. So every path has its own 2 distinct projects. For example, communication style or learn your leadership style. In another path, for example, active listening. So it depends on which path. So you have to finish the requirements of this particular path in level 2. And then you have the additional meeting roles, which are listed here. You have to be a grammarian. You have to be a topic master. You have to be a speaker. Speaker means completing the previous, the project, the speech project you have to do, and select one of the following additional role: timer, or Toastmaster of the day, or accountant. So you have to finish all of that to complete level 2. All right, now we go to level 3. If you have questions, please write them down and we'll address them at the end, all right? I can always go back to the screen, but I just want to show you how it looks like if you haven't done already, because it's different when you see it on the screen. Now, level 3. Now it's getting more intensified. So now here it comes. Okay, so now again, you have also, again, the pool of resources. If you have additional resources for additional stuff that were not basically addressed in previously, now they're going to be shown in this screen. 1 required project, 2 elective projects from the list of electives, and now you're introduced to the successful club series. So you, as a member, you have to pick one of these 4. So for example, now you have how many level 3 we need for the DCP? 2, right? 2 members to complete level 3 minimum to get the point, right? So if you have, for example, 2 members working on level 3, I would suggest, as a VP Education, maybe you can have a discussion which of the successful club series you want to deliver. So there's no repetition. So there's a variety. So I'm going to, for example, talk about creating the best club climate, and member 2 will talk about keeping the momentum, for example. You can do all of them, for example. I'm saying a minimum requirement to have some variety. So this way, the VP Education with the members can have a plan, for example, what we're going to talk about. And we used to do that back in the good old days. We used to have a system like an Excel sheet, who's going to talk about what and what, because those were requirements. So that was what we used to do back in the good old days. And I think this system would work well. If you have a systemized kind of structured plan, you coordinate with your members what they want to see, because everything is there. And again, this link, you learn more. It takes you straight to the website with all the resources for creating the best club climate, etc., etc. And then you have the additional meeting rules. You have to be a Toastmaster of the day, an evaluator, a speaker meaning completing the projects, as we know, and doing one of these roles: topic master, table topic speaker, and introductory mentor informal. Now, let me talk about that. I'm going to stop sharing here. I'm going to basically go back into the slides to talk about this. So it is more, how can I say, more organized. So anyway, I did this, I took some screenshots just in case the website or the doesn't work. So I took some screenshots, again, for sharing also the notes for you all, with you all guys, so you can have a look at it. So what is the introductory mentor informal thing? It is different than the normal Pathways Mentor program. So whenever a new member joins a club, usually assign a mentor, right, to a member. This is the informal mentor, introductory mentor. When you help a member, for example, how to log into the base camp, what are the different meeting roles, and these are the requirements for level 3 and 5. So this can include guiding any new member, answering the questions, your previous meeting roles, and this would motivate members to become mentors at the beginning. Because as we know, the Pathways Mentor program, you have to finish level 2 to have access to that, right? And it takes 6 months, so it's a different program. Both can be basically credited towards the credit of being a mentor. But the informal one is basically any member who will basically assigned as a mentor to a new member from the beginning. You don't have to finish level 1 or level 2, as in the case with the Pathways Mentoring program. So this is a program, and the informal one is a different story. It's just the normal things that we do in our clubs when we have a pool of mentors, right? A new member joins and we assign a mentor. This is when you're talking about the introductory mentor role. So any member can take credit for that. And you can define as a club, what is the duration? 2 months, 3 months, it depends on the kind of interaction, because we have a certain agreement between the mentor and mentee. We have certain forms for that, as we know it already. So will the completion of the Pathways Mentor Program be again credited as for level 3 and 5 requirement instead of the introductory mentor role? Are they separate? Are they the same? And the answer is yes. So either which can be credited to it. So if you're doing the Pathways Mentoring Program, you can consider it as doing a mentor role. If you're doing the informal mentor role, this also can be taking credit to your credit to the member. So either which would work for you. So if you have mentors assigned to the clubs, they can take the credit. If you have already members working on the Pathways Mentoring Program, they can also take the credit. So they work hand in hand. So this is also one of the questions that basically popped up. What is the difference between the Pathways Mentoring Program and the informal mentoring? They're not the same, but they can both fulfill the requirement for level 3 and level 5. All right. So now let's go back again to the screen. Sorry if I'm confusing and jumping between one screen and another, but I think it's better to see it on the live screen. Okay, if you can see the screen, please let me know. Can I see a thumbs up? All right, so now we finished level 3. Level 4. Okay, level 4, again, level 4 building skills. So everything has a different title, but it's just the requirement page. So here again, you have the resources for all the things that you need to do, and one required project, one elective project, and now you have to do one series, one session from the Successful Club series. You have to pick one of these 4. They're different from the previous set I showed you, these, because they're in total, they're 10 or 9, I forgot. Now I have to check the slide. I think they're 10. And one session from the Better Speaker series. These are 10. So you have to pick one of those. And again, if you have more than one member doing level 4 or 5, you have to also coordinate with that exactly which of which. This is for level 4 requirements, all right? And again, you have to do the Toastmaster of the Day role, General Evaluator role, Evaluator, and one of the additional roles, which are the Table Topic Speaker, Topics Master, and Specialized role. Now, what is a specialized role? A specialized role is any of these creative roles we come up with in the club, like, for example, Quiz Master, Zoom Master, Round Robin Master. You can have, for example, a Table Topics Evaluator. These are specialized roles that clubs come up with because they will serve the club meeting roles. So any of these roles can become a specialized role based on the club's requirement, and it has to be coordinated with the club members and the executive committee. So any of these roles can be considered a specialized role. Right? So we have lots of different. Joke Master can be also a specialized role. Just anything that you think that will help the boost the club environment, add some vitality, some energy, some fun, because we need to elevate the club quality. All of these can be considered as specialized role. Right? Now level 5. Level 5, again, overview, go to level 5. Now, this is I would say the most extensive one, not because it has more requirements, it's an advanced level and you have much more to do. I'll tell you why. So one required project, one elective project, and now you have to do one of the Successful Club series here, one of the remaining sessions, so they're 11, so 4, 4, 11, and one of the Leadership Excellence series. So they have 10, you have to pick one of those. And in this stage, you have to do the General Evaluator twice, the Toastmaster of the Day twice, Evaluator, Speaker in the previous projects, and again, one additional role, either Topics Master, Table Topics Master, Eye Counter, Timer, Club Mentor Informal, Specialized Role Informal, or a Grammarian. So you have to pick one of these roles. So these, once you're done with all of these things, then you have completed level 5. So it's beautiful the way they've done it because it's all summarized in Basecamp. So you don't have to memorize anything. You just have it in front of you. It's so organized, so, how can I synchronize, whereby you see where you are, you have all the resources in one page, you know where you're at exactly, and it links you to all the resources to that particular series, educational series, So it's not confusing. So everything is there. If you are working in an Arabic path, you will not see this. If you're working on any language path, you will not see this. If you're working on any other of the legacy path, you'll not even see this main screen because you're using the old platform. So this only applies to the 6 official paths that we talked about under the new learning management system. Let me now stop sharing my screen and get back to my slides. All right. So again, I took these screenshots just in case the website or the, sometimes you have internet failure. So I took just, I had my plan B to having some screenshots from the main screens just for you to see how it looks like. So this is what I'm talking about, the specialized role, any role that you can come up with that will help elevate the club quality, like for example, round robin master, quiz master, table topics evaluator, poll master, Zoom master, sky's the limit. So these basically can count towards a specialized role. You as members of the club, you know what works for your club members, what works for your club quality. Any of these specialized roles would count towards the credit for these members. Now everyone's thinking, what are the roles we have? We have an international audience here. We have an audience from Europe, we have an audience from America, audience from Australia, audience from Middle East. Sky's the limit. I'm sure every club has their own specialized roles. This would basically fit as long as it helps the district, the club mission, and elevates the club quality. Go ahead and go for that. But of course, you have to coordinate with the club VP education and the executive committee, so you have all in agreement what kind of specialized roles that you do. All right, so we talked about this already. So these are basically the successful club series. And as you can see, these are requirements for level 3, 4, and 5, because these are important to elevate the club success, the quality of the club. Look at the topics: creating the best club climate, keeping the commitment, going beyond the club, how we can market our club, meeting roles and responsibilities, closing the sale, how we can basically convince a member to join the club, finding new members. All of these topics are important to serve the club mission, right? So these are why they're all required in levels 3, 4, and 5. In level 4, you have, apart from those, you have one topic from the Better Speaker series, how we can become better speakers, how to begin your speech, concluding your speech, know your audience, etc. And the last is the Leadership Excellence series for level 5. One of these topics, some of them are lengthy topics, but again, they're like kind of a workshop. So this will improve the membership presentation skills, leadership skills, and will equip the members who are presenting and the audience with a lot of information and knowledge within the club environment. So why are these introduced? Why are the educational series introduced in Pathways? I think you've already seen it from your eyes now, and I think most of you are convinced that these will basically help the club's quality in order to share knowledge. And members will gain more skills by reading the manuals and preparing for these slides and sharing the knowledge within the club members. Because what we've seen over the past few years, especially during the pandemic, these attendance of online sessions is basically a challenge, right? And I'm sure many of the PQDs would agree on that, because there's a lot of information, a lot of presentations and educational sessions being conducted and organized. But within the club environment, and especially it's a requirement, this is our home. So now we got to learn more about how to pick up a topic, how basically close the sale, how we can find members for our club. It will help the club officers, VP education, VP membership, public relations. All of these topics will address these different fine skills that will assist the officers to start with in fulfilling their mission. And again, I have to reiterate that club quality is the essence. And the DCP, the Distinguished Club Program, is the essence for the district recognition program. It all connects together. So you have to start from the core, the club, in order to ensure that your targets are achieved. So this is why we are embedding, again, these important educational series back into Pathways and our tradition. Club mentoring, club roles, of course, this will help us as officers and also encourage members to basically be part of the club roles. Now, sometimes it's a struggle, right, to find meeting roles, right? Who's going to be the evaluator? Who's going to be the grammarian? Now with the requirements, it's easier now to facilitate the club roles, and you will have some variety, so you don't have the same faces every time. So you serve as a grammarian this time, next time someone else can become an eye counter, an evaluator, and we learn a lot by doing these skills, right? Active listening skills, listening, analytical skills by being evaluator. So once now it is a requirement, it will hone these skills for the members at the club level. and later on. So this is why we have all these sessions back and the meeting rules requirement in pathways enhancements. And I hope all of you are convinced. So how can we track? I showed you already there's a section in each level. I showed the screen with you so you can see exactly where you are, what is the checklist, which session to do under each of the 5 levels. And for members now, because the issue now with the system is you as a member have to log in exactly what meeting rules you've done. As Basecamp managers, we do not have the right, we cannot have the facility in order for us to, for example, say that Dalia was a grammarian on October 27th, or Rania was an evaluator on this. The member has to log into their profile and do it themselves. For the Basecamp manager to see exactly which meeting rules have been done. So now I'll show you how you can track it. For member, for example, for me, I log into Basecamp and under my name, there's a profile on the right-hand side. So when you click on profile, then it takes you to a screen and then you can scroll down and you see meeting roles. And here we have the pen. And there you can pick the meeting role and specify the date for in which you basically conducted the role. Let me try and show it to you from my screen. Maybe it's easier that way. Let me go back to the screen, to the slides. All right, so again, guys, if you see my screen, please let me know. Can you see it? All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out. Let me move the thing so I can see. So can you see my name here? Can you see profile? Profile. So when I go to profile, that's me. So I go now all the way down and you see these are the meeting roles I've done. See? So if I want to add a meeting role, for example, I click on this pen here and I select a role, for example, let's say a grammarian, all right? And then I select the date. For example, today is the 27th. And I say save. Then it will show here that I'm a grammarian. Now, how does it look like for the Basecamp manager? I'm not going to share my Basecamp manager because I don't want to share the the information of my home club, but I took screenshots already and I hid the names. So this is how it's going to look like for you as a Basecamp manager. Okay, I'm going to share my slides. So as a Basecamp manager, this is what you're going to see. Just move this big pane. So basically you go to my clubs under profile, and then under my clubs, you'll see the club here. So for example, in my case, I'm Man International Toastmasters Club, and you see all your club members. So you click on view profile, and there you'll see exactly what meeting roles have they done. But they have to fill it themselves. So now we have to basically instruct our members, please, after each meeting role, log into your profile. If you're a timer, exactly, I see the face of Dalia. This is the challenge, yeah. I personally made a request to World Headquarters if we can have some kind of a facility in the future for us as club officers, whereby we can basically do that. Now, back in the good old days, we had the manuals, like a written manual, like a hard copy, like a physical manual. So we used to fill it up ourselves, and the VP Education has to sign at the end, back in the good old days. We didn't have anything online, so we used to do it manually at the time. So it's more or less the same, but I know we got used to this digitized system. So no, it's going to be a lot of effort now in the VP Education. We have to orient them now in order for them to log in, and you have to track the changes and all this stuff. So yes, that is the challenge for now. So I can see the disappointment on Dalia's face, but sorry, that's the way it is right now. Yeah, it's a big ouch, but that's the way it is. So you have to orient members to log into the roles under the profile and Basecamp. And of course, you can have an Excel sheet. I'll tell you, last Saturday, we had my club executive committee meeting. I told them about these changes, and we had the same jaw dropping on the whole screen because we met online. And we agreed that we're going to have like a Google file drive where we have like the roles and the names of the members and who did what. So we can all have access to it as club officers. And now we have, and in my home club, we have the practice of doing club minutes. So in the minutes, we have all the details, who did what. And now we're going to add a new segment called the table topic speakers to basically to document the speakers, the guests mainly who spoke on the table topics. So now that's a new segment that we're going to add in our club minutes, apart from the other meeting roles. So these are some of the things that are done in many clubs. I'm sharing my own experience in my home club as a VP education in my home club. So these are the things that we're going to implement in my home club. And some clubs have websites like the Easy Speak. I know it's very common, and in Europe, and you have the Free Toast. So you can always have these kind of facilities to do it yourself in order to keep track. And always keep the core values. If a member comes to you and says, I did this, let's not basically have a fight about it. Let's be reasonable. And in the end, we want to elevate the member's experience, right? Let's have a kind of an agreement and a kind of a good tracking system whereby we elevate the member's experience and not overwhelm them. Not the members, not the VP educations. In the end, we want to elevate the member's experience and achieve the targets of the club mission, right? So now let's go to some of the important questions. Now I send these questions to our recorders, and these are the answers that I got. So I'd like to share them with you because maybe some of the questions are in your minds right away. So maybe we'll kind of actually cut the Q&A sessions to half the time. Let's see. So what if I already completed a level in my path? What is the situation? If you completed a level in your path, that's fine. This new section will not apply to you. You'll see it like what I showed you today, level 1, level 2, level 3. I've completed them, but you do not have to do them. But if you're working in a level that is not complete, that means you have to complete those requirements, be it any of the series, the meeting rules, etc., and the Basecamp manager has to approve those, all right? Second question. My path is currently in progress. Will I see the new section in my path? The answer is yes. If you're working on any of the 6 paths that we talked about, you will see them reflected in your path. And what I advise you to do now, after the session, not now, go to your Basecamp and see it with your own eyes and go around, because you have to, maybe if you're a VP education, demonstrate it to your clubs in one session in the club meeting, what they're going to see. Otherwise, they will not be familiar with these changes. You have to show it to them. You have to demonstrate it to them, and how easy and how feasible it is to access all their resources. So this is what I would recommend you as club VPEs to do it within your club members. In level 1, members are required to serve as table topic speakers before delivering an icebreaker. What if they do it as a guest? Would it count? Or do they have to be members in the club and do the table topics, and then they can do the icebreaker? The answer is yes. Even if they're guests and they do the table topics, it will count. This is why now we're adding the table topic speakers for members and guests in our club minutes, for example, in order to know if the guest has already done the table topic speech. And so immediately they enroll in their path, and immediately they start with their educational journey doing the icebreaker. Why do they have to basically tell them, no, you have to do it again? It already counts for. So even if as a guest, they get the credit for that. If a member belongs to multiple clubs, can the roles performed in different clubs be counted toward their completion credit? And the answer is yes, they can. But in the end, one club will basically have to accept the level completion, like in a path. For example, you are in 2 clubs, right? And you're conducting speeches here and there for one of the levels, right? In the end, the credit has to go to one club. And the same applies to the meeting roles. So you can do it here and there, but you have to coordinate with the VP education. Yes, I did it in club A, but I did it in club B. For example, grammarian or table topics, for example, like what we do now in our project speeches, right? But in the end, the credit will go to one club as level 1 completion, because it's already part of the requirements of the level completion, be it speeches or projects. But you can do it in multiple clubs. But in the end, the credit will go to one club. I see some hands up. Please keep the questions in the end, because we have a dedicated session for that. But write it down in order for you to have it fresh in your mind. Now, if a member working on level 1 serves as an evaluator, can that role be credited under level 2? Let's not be complicated. Yes. So you have to coordinate with the VP education. You can do it in sequence or a different role. It doesn't matter. You finish the requirement in one level, but if you, for example, you did 2 evaluator roles in the same period, you can give it to the second level. That's fine. But you have to coordinate with the VP education. For example, I did an evaluate. I'm working on level 1, and I did 2 evaluations, for example, during that period. Okay, so this second evaluation, I'll also give it credit for the for level 2, for example, if they're doing it at the same time during the same year. This is why you need to have a good tracking system. Otherwise, you'll not know who did what. So if you have a kind of a system, an Excel sheet, and a kind of a tracking system, then it will be much more organized, because you cannot tell the members and you have to do it to start from scratch, for example. This will kill the momentum, right? But eventually it will basically be credited to the members for the second level to move on. If a member working on 2 paths simultaneously, should the required roles be completed separately under each path? And the answer is, of course, yes, because these are 2 separate paths. So the requirements for path 1 is alone. The requirements for path 2 is alone. So here you cannot mix and match, right? So I don't know much of people who do path 2 paths simultaneously. So there's going to be a complete mixed up. So this path is alone and that path is alone. So you cannot mix and match if you have working 2 paths simultaneously. It has to be separated. Can roles performed in demonstration meetings, Peachcraft programs, or joint club meetings be considered toward the completion credit? Yes, you can. Because anyway, they're meeting roles and you're helping facilitating a session. So they can basically credit it towards the path. So if you, for example, are helping in a demonstration, in a demo meeting for a new club, for example, being an evaluator, just tell the VP Education you did it for the session in that day, and this can be accounted for. So you can take the credit for that. I see a lot of eyes going up and down, so I don't know if this makes sense or not. Let's see in the Q&A session. Now, who's responsible for maintaining the log of roles? Now, as per the leadership handbook, the club leader handbook, it's the VP Education. Poor VPEs have to do it, but of course, we have to work together as the executive committee all together. It's not only the VPE role alone. Let's collaborate, figure out a way, a system as club officers in order to help each other, in order to keep track of these things, but solely, officially, it's under the VP Education of the club. All right. All right, these specialized roles are not currently reflected under the member profile. Yes, if you go under the member profile, as I showed you, they're not there. And I also send a request to World Headquarters. Maybe they can have a certain tab. For now, it's not there. So we have now to keep track of that until further notice. Because you only have the grammarian, eye counter, evaluator, general evaluator. You don't have the specialized role or the informal mentor role. So again, it's now, for now, under the tracking purpose. Hopefully in the future, they'll be adding this new tab for informal mentor role and specialized role to indicate a note what specialized role was done by this member on that particular day. But for now, it is not there. In clubs with no number of members or low member attendance, one individual may need to take more mentor, right? A Toastmaster wears so many hats, right? Will this still count? Yes, it will count. So you can do multiple roles in the same meeting. So if you do evaluator, grammarian, yes, it will be counted towards the credit of level completion. So it will not be like you have to do it in one meeting and then another meeting. Yes, you can take credit for both. But you have to jot on the profile which meeting role you've done and under which day. So that is from my side as slides. I don't see the red light. I mean, that's fantastic. I did it on time. For some reason, I managed. Did I confuse you more? Do you get a bit of an understanding of what's going to happen? Okay, I see a lot of exclamation marks. You know, this, you know, is it a good or a good sign or a bad sign? I don't know. So now let's open the floor for questions and answers if I haven't answered some of the questions. And God help me if I know. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know, because then I'll add them. Marie is laughing, then I'll add them to the list and send them to World. It's been like a roller coaster ride and battle, because it's a new thing. And as a VP, I think about it as a VPE, what am I going to do to the club members before anything else? So these were coming to my mind. So this is exactly what I sent them already. So if anything I missed, please let me know. And if I don't know, I'll share the answer with you later on. So let's start with Marie.
There are a few questions in the chat. Would you be able to read, Rania?
The chat, okay, all right. So do you want me to start with the chat? Okay, start with the chat or start with, okay, let me see. Oops, let me see the chat. What about TT evaluator? Yes, it can be not an evaluator role. It is, yes, you can. See, evaluator role is a speech evaluator. If I'm a VP, I'll consider it, to be frank with you. This is recorded, right? I will, because it's an evaluation anyway. So let's not make it complicated, right? I write it in writing, but I would basically consider it as an evaluator as well, because anyway, we're evaluating, right? So it's an evaluation. But does it have to be an evaluation with the speech objectives? And again, it's a gray area. I agree with you. But as a VPE, I would basically consider it. This is what I would do personally, I would say. But I'll ask them that question. Should the VP education track the TT speakers in Easy Speak? I've worked with Easy Speak a while ago. I don't know how it looks like right now, but if you can log in the participants as guests, then do so. Whatever way you can track it. For whoever asked the Easy Speak, who asked this? That is Carolina who asked this question, right? Yeah. So if you have a way to put it under Easy Speak, do that. Otherwise, you'll lose track. Whatever works for you. Excel sheet, minutes, Easy Speak. Because once they join the club, you don't want to say, yes, you didn't do it. You need to have a system or something to basically prove for you to know that they basically done it. Who would remember? So if you can do that, yes, please do so. When will these new requirements become mandatory? They're already mandatory. They started on October 22nd. If you completed a path already or a level already, that's fine. If you still work on a level, then you are basically entitled to complete these enhancements. So they're basically implemented since October 22nd. All right, another question. The new requirement will be added by the members. Will the Basecamp manager approve the performance? Yes. Yes, they have to approve it, to verify before. The answer is yes. The pathways FAQ states each member must complete the required meeting roles while working in the relevant level in order to receive credit. For example, they cannot fulfill a role while in level 1 and receive credit for that role in level 3. How should that be interpreted? It's a gray area. I mean, I asked that question as well, and I got also again a gray answer. I mean, in the end, it's up. You have to abide by the core values, and it's again preliminary stage. For me as well, I will not basically be that strict at the stage until we see more changes and more modifications happen. If you can basically, again, track it as well and to have it for separate different levels, be my guest. But I also got a gray answer for that. So for now, I would basically give the credit for that. Can we have a copy of these slides? I will, as well as a recording, please. That's up to the Zoom master. In Pathways, after completing a speech, we are required to record the speech title and evaluator's name. However, when I deliver a speech as a guest in another club, or when a guest evaluates my speech in my club, the evaluator's name does not appear in the drop-down list. How can I assign a record of speech evaluation given by a guest? What we do again, a member sends an email to the VP Education that I did it for this and that. In the old system, you could do that, but with the new learning management system, this facility is no longer available. I know. You cannot basically put the name of the evaluator back in the old system. So we just send an email that I did a speech on that club, and that was my evaluator, and that's the way we can track it at this moment. Unfortunately, that's the only way we can do it. So these are all the questions in the chat. Now let's go to the hands on the screen. All right, so back to Mary. Sorry, Mary.
No, that's okay. Thank you, Rania. What you've covered tonight's been fabulous and very comprehensive, and the questions as well have added to the overall knowledge. So my question relates to the educational series presentations. Most people have never seen them, never heard of them. Anyone who's joined in recent times. But there are obviously people like us that did them years ago, and some people have been doing them more recently, be it in an advanced club is one example. So if someone did an educational presentation a month ago and the content has not changed, that's evident from having looked at them all, do you intend to sign that person off for having given that? Or are you saying October 22nd was the start date?
I will sign it.
Yeah, good. So will I.
I will sign it. Yes. It's already hard enough. Let's not make it harder. I'll sign it.
Hi,
Yes.
Rania.
Hi, dear.
Thank
Hi.
you for presenting today.
You're welcome.
It's very educational. It helped me become more aware and better understanding. My question is around in level 2, you had mentioned that there's an introduction to Toastmasters mentoring, but then in level 3, there's an introductory mentoring informal to it all. How are those two different? Is the first one just more of a protege and a mentor to get a
Yes.
better understanding?
Yes.
And then you're applying it to level 3? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Introduction to Mentoring is a project whereby you speak as your own experience being mentored or being a mentor, like a protege or a mentor-mentee. The same thing we did before. The other one, the informal mentor, is when you are a mentor for a new member, for example. So let's say Elka joins and I'm appointed her mentor. So I take her through the process. I answer her questions. What are the different meeting roles? So it's an informal mentor role. So you take credit for that as being a facilitator and helper to the members within the club, because they don't take a credit for that. The only thing that is basically assigned as a project is the Pathways Mentor Program after completing level 2. That you have to log into the system and you have to complete the process, I think, over 6 months as well. So that's a different thing. So the one you're talking about is just a project, a speech project about your experience as a member being a protege and a mentor-mentee relationship. It could be from Toastmasters or from your life experience. So it's different.
Okay.
I hope I answered the question.
You did. And then the other question that I have is if I'm working in level 3, for an example, before these enhancements came out, I could also be working on some projects in level 5 ahead of time. Am I still allowed to be able to jump ahead, or is it just still focused only on one level at a time to get it complete?
Now, to log in the system, it has to be like in sequence, let's put it that way. But even in projects, you can go for level 5 and level 3. When it first launched, we couldn't go to a next step. It was locked, remember? And then open it up. So it's exactly the same. So again, they'll tell us you have to go by the core values and do it in a systematic way. But what I would suggest is do it in a systematic way. So in order not to confuse yourself more, that's what I would do. But nothing will prevent the members from doing that. That's the shortcut answer. But to log it on the system as a base camp manager, you have to see the checklist done on the certain days. So we cannot basically approve this before that. This is how it is. So it should be in a systematic way. That would be the best practice to do. I hope I answered your question. You're welcome.
You did. Thank you.
Okay. Now I see Elka and I see Latif. Latif has been a long time, but now you see his face because it was only the picture. Now I see Latif in person. Yes.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
First
evening.
of all, thank you very much, DTM Rania, for conducting such a wonderful session. And I should appreciate giving it all in 1 hour's time. You have done a very wonderful job. I have 2 questions. The earlier one, which I raised the question was, during the question and answer explanation, you said that the member has to inform the VP Education for the level completion.
Did I say that?
If he's member of 2 clubs.
I mean, if you're taking multiple roles.
No, about the level completion.
No, I was talking about different multiple roles.
I had only one. If I am clarifying it, if I am a member and I'm selecting as my club, that's it, right? I don't have to inform VP Education.
Yes,
He will just approve it.
If you log in that, yes, that's it. Yeah.
And
if you're a member of 2 clubs, exactly. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. And the second one was the one which I felt you being sorry on behalf of International Toastmasters International for not having it or being it very useless because it's not coming it on the new pathways. I believe the person can buy a $20 pathway to get all the dose which has been the new changes. So I feel DTM Rania should not be feeling sorry for it. It's just the way to learn and make it another investment of $20 would have helped it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Latif.
Sorry if I've...
Thank
but
you,
I felt
Latif,
that you should not be saying sorry on behalf of Toastmaster International, as Toastmaster International have put this with a lot of research and everything. I think that's all worthy. whatever the new implements are.
Thank you, Latif, for feedback. See, it's different minds, school of thought, you know. I mean, a member is entitled one path to continue their journey. So you cannot basically tell them this is pay $20 and get another path. I mean, that's not the, so I have to find a common grounds in order to basically accommodate many members all over the world.
There are no free lunches, no free lunches.
Okay.
You have invested your time.
Let's park this for another discussion now. Let's go to Alka. Thank you, Latif. Yes, Alka.
Thank you, DTM Rania.
Yeah.
I see one more question in the chat. First of all, somebody asking, will it be applicable to other languages in future?
That's the plan. I'm the Arabic chief reviewer. That's the plan. So I've been after them now. So let's see. They told me in the future. When is the future? I don't know, but that's the plan. So yeah. But for now, it's only for those 6 paths in English only. So those who work in Arabic paths, relax. It's not doesn't apply to you. Yeah.
Okay. Coming to my question now, I know you have answered it in several ways to several similar questions. I quickly tried to do it because I have completed one level, but I did not mark it complete yet. And now I see that those new requirements are already there. I think you mentioned that it depends on VP education to allow completion or something, but I tried to submit now. It is not allowing me to submit.
You have to complete the rest of the requirements?
Yes, it looks like, though I did it very hurriedly, but looks like it won't allow us to submit without having those ticks on the new requirements as well. So that's just something that I wanted to say, but I will explore it further. I just tried it very quickly now, so maybe it works. So
I think it should work because 2 days ago I approved 2 levels completion for 2 members. I mean, just on the day of 22nd of October, but not after. And it basically it was processed. But as a base camp manager, I approved it. So I did not got those pop-ups that they completed this and that. So, okay, let me know what happens. I would love to know exactly what happens, if you can keep me posted.
Right. I have marked it complete now. It allowed me to mark it complete, but approval to submit, it's not allowing me at the minute.
You cannot submit it as a member for the base camp manager to approve it, you mean?
Yes. So it's marked complete, yet it's not. So I'll need to explore.
Okay, let's investigate and see, because I mean it's not just a week time, so I don't know exactly. So I'm sure we're going to get a lot of these scenarios in the coming few days. Yeah.
That would almost suggest that you have to check off the checklist.
So complete the checklist, yes. Like what we do in a project, and maybe
which is very
submit
interesting because there's no other way to check it. But if that's what it requires, that actually isn't a bad thing.
Because it has to be done from your side, you know. You have to do it, the checklist from your side as a member, and then I'll get the pop as a VP education or base camp manager just to approve it, to verify that yes, Alka did this, she did that, they did that, and then I approve it. So it should work theoretically.
It depends on me, not the VP education, to mark it complete, whether I've done the roles or not.
Okay, I haven't seen it with the new thing as a base camp manager because none of my home club members have done it because it's just a week time. So no one was basically in that like transitional phase, I would say. So let's explore and see, but it should work. My guess it should work. But anyway, keep me posted. So I'd like to know what happens. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for
You're welcome, Alka.
I
think I see more hands. I mean, I cannot see.
Do we have more hands? I don't see any hands.
Okay. No. Any more questions?
In the chat? No, I don't see any questions. I think there's one question that our PR manager has already addressed.
Completed the level and mark the roles requirement in your profile. If these roles you have taken in the past meeting even or in previous year. I would say the beginning of the year. I mean, previous year, I mean, how can I track it? So I said at least from the beginning of the year, like what Marie has asked, for example, last month or 2 months ago. Yes, that would make sense. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
now two hands now. Carolina and again Dina's there. Okay, let's go to, I saw Carolina first. Okay, let's go to Carolina and then we'll go to Dina. Yeah. Yes, Carolina.
Okay. Just quick question. Now
Yes.
we talk about that it's completely in charge of VPEs, right? So if, for example, the members will deliver the particular role in each level, it's completely in charge just to VPE. There is no other tracking, like the reliability of that the member did it the way it's just on member and VPE, right?
It's how you design it. Okay, let me put it that way. For example, the VP education is away. It's not present that day meeting. I mean, how can you basically keep track? I see it as a whole team collaboration, the whole executive committee. This is what I would do. And this is why we agreed to have this Google file on Google. So whoever is present will basically log in, and otherwise it's too much on one person. It's overwhelming. This is what I would do. I mean, this is what we're doing in my home club for my officers, because it's too much basically to control. So it cannot only be the VP education, because now the base camp manager is everyone. Before it was 3, now it's everyone. All the executive officers can basically approve, not only the president, VP education, and the secretary, right? So everyone can do that. So it's a teamwork. So I would suggest have a format where everyone has access to that, to verify it. If you are not feeling well that day, you're absent for some reason, traveling, otherwise it's going to be really chaotic. So it's not going to be out of control. So that would be my advice to you. On paper, under the Club Leader Handbook, yes, it's a VP education, but you can have always the team members. Everyone is should put their hand and assist. You cannot say it's only solely in the VP education. It would be unfair to suggest that, to be frank with you. Yeah.
Okay, great. So I think that the members or like the presidents and VPs should announce this, that if some member will meet the requirements for level 1, 2, 3, like in a leadership way, they can reach any officer role.
So you want to say it as an announcement to the club, to the members?
Yeah.
Okay, so officially it's a VP education, but between the executive committee members, you have to have an agreement as well. How are you going to track it? If now I understand your question. Okay. Otherwise, it's going to be confusing. No, for the members, it's a VP education, all right? Or if the VP education has an assistant, for example. Some people, they have assistants. Committee, for example, if they have something like that in the club. But between the executive committee members, have a system, a mechanism whereby everyone has access to the file whereby they can track it in case the VP education is not present that day for some reason. But officially, it's a VP education.
Okay, yeah.
So now I understood the question. So
yeah,
I've rephrased it. You're welcome. Dina.
Hello, Rania.
Hello, Dina.
I think I shared the concern of everyone here about the VPE, and I'm thinking how proportionally the VPE should be standing to this challenge. So my question is, if the VPE is a new member, or let's say having a very new, very fresh experience, how we will be able to aid our VPEs toward this new challenge? For example, some of them maybe will not be able to guide the members about the mentorship or some more and more advanced speeches going from level 2 to level 3. And, it requires a kind of experience and guidance. So how we can really kill this fear and still be able to enable those VPEs?
I hear your voice, and this is basically a challenge of many clubs as well, especially when they have new clubs, for example, being chartered, right? Let alone new VP education coming on place and things like that. That's a concern of everyone. Not everyone has experienced members or seasoned members like some of the clubs around the world. I agree. This is whereby it has to be like a kind of onboarding, orientation. If they have like seasoned members from within the club, maybe they can become the mentors of this VP education. That's also one of the informal mentor role, right? And be the mentor of the VP education. Or past experienced members within the club, they can do that. Have the area directors basically step in and help these clubs as well. because it's a collaborative work. It cannot be basically only the sole responsibility of one individual person. And again, the executive committee altogether, they have to work together altogether. You have the president, you have the VP education, the membership, they all have to work together. If all of them are new as well, who are the mentors of the club, for example? Who is supporting the club at the district level, the higher level? We can take it one step at a time, analyze the club status quo and who are the members within the club and how you can capitalize on the experiences within the club, because some clubs are completely fresh and new. Then you have a pool of resources, a pool of support system for that particular club. You have members who have seasoned members who have been absent. Maybe you can have them back, enroll them again to become basically mentors and educate them. Those members who've been part of these educational series. Maybe you can have like an orientation session of the different series at the area, division, even the district level. Sky's the limit. Change is hard, I know. It's overwhelming. I hear you. I hear your voice. I agree with you. Some of us were happy with this addition. Some of us basically are basically full of apprehension and worries, and I understand why. Like when pathways were introduced, why do you need a new education system? Now we have the learning management system. The old 5 paths are gone. Why is that? All these questions. But everything is evolving. The world is changing. This is the current status quo. This is the way it is. And this is like a bottleneck that we have to support each other to get out of from in the best way possible. This is where we have to capitalize on our experiences, reach out to members, reach out to those who are basically seasoned to assist and help. So analyze each club separately, look at those members who've been there before and ask for their help and their support. You have the area directors, division directors, the district directors, the PQDs as well. So this is why we are basically appointed for these positions or elected for these positions to help and support you. So you're not alone. You're not alone in this journey. That's the easiest thing I can say.